SC/ST Act, at least for now, has dealt a massive blow to the government. Before the 2019 elections, this issue has become the single biggest challenge for the Modi government. Who is really to be blamed for the fiasco that is now surrounding the review petition, and how at every step along the way the government finds itself in a catch-22 situation? The first defense from the government, and no less than the law minister himself has said this on record, that the government was not party to the changes made in the SC/ST Act as per the Supreme Court's judgment of March 20th. There are documents, court documents, which prove that ASG Maninder Singh was very much party to the case, and that ASG Maninder Singh had even sought time from the court to make his submissions. There are also court documents which show that notices were issued to the Attorney General's office so that the central government can make submissions in this matter, and these are documents from as far back as January of this year. So the government was very much a party to this case. The second defense from the government, once this order got passed and there were Dalit protests all across India, including the violent ones that we saw yesterday, again the law minister said that there will be a comprehensive review petition that will be filed before the court. It went up before the same bench today, and the bench expressly refused to review or modify its order in any form or fashion, at least in today's hearing. It is now postpone this matter for the next hearing in 10 days' time. So at least for the next 10 days from the Supreme Court, there's going to be no modification to that order of March the 20th. So what option is the government then left with? Now, the opposition parties, at least some of them, are saying that the only option that the government has is to come to Parliament, bring in an amendment that would circumvent the Supreme Court's order changing the SC/ST Act. The problem is the Parliament session, so far what we've seen of the second half of the budget session, 18 days, every single day has been washed out. Is it possible for the government to bring such an amendment, even if it has support of some opposition parties and allies? Is it possible for the government to bring such an amendment in Parliament? Why would the opposition oblige the government when clearly the government itself did not show much inclination in wanting either house to run? So clearly the government is caught between a rock and a hard place. The Supreme Court's decision has given the opposition a big issue on a platter. The government's failure to convince the top court, the same bench essentially today, is now being cited by the opposition as an example of the ruling party, the BJP's what they call anti-Dalit mindset. The BJP, on the other hand, is saying vested interests, many of them politically fanned by the likes of the Congress party and other opposition parties, were the real reasons why we saw this kind of flare-up, leading to the death of 11 people across different states of North India yesterday. In firefighting mode now, the BJP says it's done way more to protect Dalit interests than the Congress or any other opposition government has done in the past.
समुदाय के लोगों को संविधान द्वारा जो प्रोटेक्शन दिया गया है, सरकार उसके प्रति पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्ध है।
भारत सरकार से भी मांग करना चाहती हूँ कि अनुसूचित जात और जनजातियों के लिए जो कानून बनाई गई थी, उस पर पुनः लोकसभा में इस पर चर्चा कराई जाए और पूरे भारत के अनुसूचित जात, जनजात और महिलाओं की रक्षा के लिए सख्त कानून बनाया जाए।
If Supreme Court should be give any decision, then definitely the government will think about any ordinance, or government will think about the amendment in the law.
Now, in all the politics, all the noise around this, people are tending to forget what is it that the Supreme Court changed as per its order dated March 20th in the SC/ST Act, and is there really merit to this whole political noise that we are seeing and the violence that's now cost at least 11 lives across the Bharat Bandh that we witnessed on Monday. Here are the three things that the Supreme Court order changes. Number one, the old SC/ST Act of 1989 barred any court from granting anticipatory bail to an accused person. What the March 20th Supreme Court judgment did was allow courts to grant bail if the complaint prima facie seems false. Number two, the old SC/ST Act of 1989, the police was bound to register an FIR the moment a complaint is received by a police station. and the accused person has to be arrested. The March 20th judgment by the Supreme Court simply says that a preliminary inquiry has to be conducted by no less than a DSP level officer to first ascertain the facts, and only if the facts point to a direction of a certain culpability of the accused, only then can he or she be arrested. The old SC Act of 1989 says if a public servant is the one who's guilty or is the one who's accused of committing an offence, that person has to serve at least 1 year in jail. The Supreme Court's judgment makes the arrest of the public servant only after approval of the appointing authority. So these are the three broad changes that have been made by the Supreme Court as per its judgment of March 20th. Is that reason enough for Dalits across the country to protest? Is any reason good enough to justify the kind of violence that we saw? And is really the government today caught without a defense? First they said they were not party to the case. Now it appears they certainly were. Then they said a comprehensive review petition will be filed. The court is in no mood to modify its order as per that review petition. And most importantly, what legal redressal does the government have? Can the government now come to Parliament after having shown no inclination of running either house for 18 days? Call us on 01204341895 if you feel strongly about this issue. Is this a massive setback for the government, and how does the government wriggle out of this situation? The hashtag is Government in Dalit Fix. Joining us here in our studios, Raghav Avasthi is an RSS thinker. Welcome to the program. Udit Raj, Member of Parliament of the BJP. Dr. Shama Mohammed, spokesperson of the Congress. Dhanraj Vanjari is former ACP of the Mumbai Police. Sujoy Kantawala, lawyer and constitutional expert. And we're also joined by Professor Ajit Khanna, Dalit rights activist and professor at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. Udit Raj, let me start with you, sir, first. You are a member of the ruling party. We had no less than the law minister come out and publicly say first, when this whole controversy erupted, he first said that the government was not a party to this matter. Now, subsequently, we've managed to access court documents where it clearly shows that not only was the government a party to the matter, Additional Solicitor General Maninder Singh had even sought time from the bench to make his submissions. If that is the case, then why was the law minister saying that it was not, the government was not party to this case?
First of all, I must clear to you is that I am not here in capacity of BJP MP. More, I am in capacity of a representative of these people. For 20 years, I have been fighting for their cause. One, and second, coming to your question is that a law minister, he denied to have a party to it. I am not aware of it. But certainly Additional Solicitor General went there and of course deposed it. And the second point is that this is accumulated anger, not only because of this judgment of 20th March. Imagine that such an outburst and weaker section who it was never expected they can do it, and they did so effectively Bharat Bandh. That means that anger is too much. There are many other issues, like before this judgment there was another judgment that was regarding to teaching vacancies in universities and colleges, which was diluted by Supreme Court.
No, sir, let me interrupt you. You are putting up a defense for why the anger has spilt over. What I am asking you is, today BJP leader after BJP leader, minister after minister, law minister, social justice minister, members of parliament, even your party president came out and put out defense of what all the BJP government has done for Dalits. If you are showing so much inclination after all the anger has spilt over, my question is, why didn't you show that kind of inclination either in court or in filing this review petition? Today the court has said we are not going to entertain this review petition, at least not for the next 10 days. One second, let
no, how can you say, how can you, the judgment came on 20th March and exactly. On 2nd of April the review petition is filed, and duration to file or time barring is 30 days. I think
so. What did the court say today? One second, what did the court say today? What did the court say today? Raghav Avasthi, the court said we are in no mood to modify or change our order. What does that mean?
There are some legal principles that we also keep in mind, since I am also a lawyer. The legal principle is that final relief in such cases or in any case whatsoever is not given at the interim stage. And therefore, the court has said that after hearing the matter, they've obviously issued notice on the review petition. That is why it has been
No, they
posted.
issued notices on the substance of the matter also back in January, which the government denied. Which the government denied.
The review petition is being entertained by the court. Please listen to me.
One second. Did the government, was the government party to this case?
Not at all. The government
was not party
has
to
to
this
be
case.
party to this case.
So then why did the law minister say the government is not party to this case?
And I do not represent the law minister. What I am saying is that the Supreme Court has done is that it has just followed normal procedure and it has said that the final relief will not be granted at the interim stage. Having said that, it does not mean that the government will not fight this review petition tooth and nail in court.
Which is what they are doing. The government was very much party to this case, even when the matter was being heard. The government is denying that it was party to the case. Now the court documents have proven that they were party to the case. Number two, we were told, no, 1 second. Number two, we were told we'll file a comprehensive review petition. No, 1 second. 1 second. The law minister yesterday came on record and said we'll file a comprehensive review petition.
Which is what has happened.
What is the court today said? We're not going to entertain this for the next 10 days. We've adjourned the matter for the next 10 days.
You have to understand that there is a judgment.
No, 1 second. Let me ask a simple question. 1 second. Will Raghav Awasthi or Udit Raj? 1 second. Will Raghav Awasthi or Udit Raj? 1 second. Will Raghav Awasthi or Udit Raj take guarantee for nothing untoward will happen between now and the next 10 days when the court will hear this matter again?
I am sure that this review petition will succeed and the government will fight.
Nobody can take guarantee.
This is something
Nobody
that I
can
can
take guarantee.
Now,
1 second, Udit Raj.
How is it possible to take guarantee? Yeah, no, I don't think that I can take guarantee or anybody can guarantee that nothing will happen in 10 days' time. Any untoward incident can happen.
They are the ones who are fomenting these
Okay,
troubles.
Shama Mohammed, that's the charge from the BJP and from RSS activists that you are fomenting this. Your party and other opposition parties are fomenting
this is something that Cambridge Analytica must have taught them. There are MPs like Joe Cox who were killed when the Brexit referendum was happening. It's straight out of Cambridge Analytica's playbook.
Now let her answer.
Let me just speak. He's asked me the question. Zaka, just give me a few seconds. First and foremost, it's a shameful day when Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad comes on, he's a cabinet minister and lies to the people of this country that they are not involved. And you clearly has mentioned what was the involvement. In fact, it's the additional Solicitor General Mahinder Singh who asked for the anticipatory bail. Let me make that clear. It's also there in those papers. Number two, they're saying Congress party. Yesterday, I was on a debate with
what does anticipatory bail in this context
Anila
mean,
Singh
ma'am? Please tell me.
Wait a minute.
Anticipatory bail is guaranteed under the CRPC.
She said the protesters, please don't interrupt. Otherwise, I'm going to interrupt every panelist on this when you speak. Let me finish. She said very clearly that the protesters, they told us it's going to be peaceful. Now, I was shocked to hear that because why would a BJP spokesperson say they told us? Did they instigate this protest? Because if you look at it, the protests where people died maximum was in Madhya Pradesh, number 2 UP and Rajasthan. And we have come to know there was a man who was with a gun early today shooting people and they said it was a Dalit.
No,
but now we come to know he's an upper caste man called Raj Singh Chauhan in UP. Number one.
What is the accusation you're making?
The boy was
what is
killed.
The accusation you're making?
Was killed in,
what is the accusation you're making?
I'm making is it could be sponsored by the Bharatiya Janata Party because why did Anila Singh say that?
You have to understand
ask when a spokesperson says that.
Udit Raj, she's saying this whole thing was sponsored by. This whole thing was sponsored.
Amrinder Singh put prohibitory orders.
1 second, Udit Raj. No, 1 second, Udit Raj. 1 second. No, answer a simple question. Answer a simple question. Why did all the 1 second, Shama 1 second. Shama 1 second. Shama 1 second. Udit Raj. No, 1 second. There are Dalits across this country. Yesterday was a Bharat Bandh. 1 second. Udit Raj. Yesterday was a Bharat Bandh across the country. Why did violence erupt only in Uttar Pradesh, in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh? Tell me. And your party is in power in... No, why is that a laughing matter? Why is that a laughing matter? Let Udit Raj respond and I'll come to you. Why did violence erupt only in these 3 states?
Because of coincidence.
It's coincidence? It's coincidence. Wow. How is that a coincidence? How is that a coincidence when Ministry of Home Affairs did not issue an advisory till 24 hours before the Bharat Bandh? How is that a coincidence that in these 3 BJP-ruled states, people
yes,
have died.
that I
Punjab
agree
has
that
30% Dalit population,
underestimated.
not one instance of violence. Tell me, Raghav Agasthy, why is that a coincidence?
There are 20 states that the BJP rules. So statistically, if there is violence, there is a greater statistical probability that the violence will be in BJP ruled states.
Since you're talking about statistics, there is 30%. No, you're wrong. There is 30% Dalit population in Punjab. There is 20% Dalit population in Karnataka. How come there is no violence in these states? How come there is no violence in those states?
They have to take responsibility.
There is 18% Dalit population in Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, ruled by BJP. How come there is no violence in Maharashtra?
There is no violence, so you have to credit the Maharashtra government.
So what I'm asking you is, if there are certain state governments that are incapable of controlling law and order, that is a problem that they need to fix.
What you are saying is that there are certain state governments that the
They are
BJP
incapable of controlling law and order.
which did very well to control law and order.
Dhanraj Vanjari is former ACP of Mumbai Police. Dhanraj Vanjari, tell me, yesterday was a Bharat Bandh, and this is a legitimate question. There are states that have more percentage of Dalit population than the 3 states that we saw violence in yesterday. Is it a failure of law and order or not? And if it is a failure of law and order, then who needs to be held accountable? You tell us.
But you can look at it from
It is
other
Dhanraj Vanjari will
respond. But let me tell you one thing very clearly.
Yeah.
Let me tell you very clearly. Yes, I am responding. Kindly listen to me. No doubt, when there is a law and order situation and police cannot handle, it means that even after the death of 9 people, you cannot dare to say that this is a failure of police. I would say yes. Even being a cop, I would say yes. This is a failure on part of police. But try to understand, in India, anywhere, in any state, police is not autonomous. Police is working under the thumb of Home Ministry and the system of governance. So ultimate blame comes to the governance of the state. They are supposed to take the accountability of deteriorating law and order situation and 9 deaths on the street. Looking into it, you can say very easily, yes, police were failure, but ultimate responsibility is of the state.
Let me rephrase my question. Sir, please listen to me. Let me rephrase my question. Yesterday was a Bharat Bandh across the country. There are Dalits across this country. There are states in which there is a far greater proportion of Dalit population than the states that we saw violence in. All I am asking you is, since law and order is a state subject, is it the failure of state governments in Uttar Pradesh, in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, where we saw maximum violence?
3 out of 20.
No, one second. Let him answer. Let him answer. He's a cop. He's a career policeman. Let him answer. Mr. Vanjari.
Yes, definitely it is a failure on the part of state governance, because the proper advanced intelligence, if would have been collected, this type of deteriorating law and order situation would have been in control. Ultimately, anybody says failure of police, I always say the failure of governance.
Yeah.
Because police machinery working under the thumb of Home Ministry and state governance. So ultimately blame has to take a responsibility. That is the state government responsibility.
Okay.
Police suo cannot be blamed for this, because in this country, everybody is witnessing. Just a minute. In this country, everybody is witnessing day and night, and every time that police is just made an instrument of politics instead of becoming the instrument of constitutional law. This is a misery they have to face every day.
He says state governments are responsible. And I hold state governments responsible.
What I am saying is that there are 20 states that are ruled by the BJP.
21.
There are 21 now. So there is Jharkhand, which has a great population of tribals and Dalits, where there was no violence. So you named 3 states out of 20. The question that I want to put to you...
the violence was in those 3 states.
The violence was in 3 states. There was no violence in the other 17 states. So you have to give the BJP credit for that. Please give the BJP credit for that.
Even one life lost, Raghav Avasthi. 11 people died. Today, will Raghav Avasthi go and control the families of those 11 people? 11 people died.
On the shoulders of the Congress party.
Why is Congress party responsible for failure in Uttar Pradesh, in Haryana, in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh?
I'll tell you why. Because they have been misleading the people by telling them that these are
Congress party has chosen these 4 states
that
to mislead
these are
people.
reservation
Congress
provisions
party
that are
does
being
not want to
diluted.
mislead people
They
in
are
other
not,
states.
They are not giving the true
Amazing.
picture
What
to the
logic?
people. The
What
fact
logic
of the
tonight,
matter
Raghav
is
Awasthi? I'm amazed.
that the BJP
I'm
government
amazed
has
at your
filed a
logic.
review petition.
Shujai Kandawala,
This is the misinformation
the moot point is this.
by the opposition.
No, 1 second. The moot point is this. Look at the number of cases that have been filed under SC/ST Act. I have data from the Ministry of Home Affairs. This was today mentioned by the Home Minister in Parliament as well. 2014, 40,401 cases were filed under SC/ST Act. The conviction rate in 2014 was 28.3%. In 2015, that number came down slightly to 38,670, the number of cases. The conviction rate also came down to 27.1%. In 2016, this is NCRB data by the way, in 2016, the number of cases filed under SC/ST Act went up to 47,000. That's a substantial shoot up to 47,000. But the conviction rate fell to 25%, which means only 1 in 4 of these cases was eventually leading to a conviction. What does that mean, Shujai Kandawala, as a lawyer? I'm not a lawyer, I'm a layman. It only means, as far as I'm concerned, it only means one of two things. Either a large number of these cases are false cases, or justice is being denied to Dalits.
Absolutely. And if justice is denied, then there is a serious problem that we have. Any person who is aggrieved has a right to take recourse of the law, and he can't be deprived of that. So therefore, I have always believed that for a specific law like the Atrocities Act, we need special dedicated courts, because the courts have to be sensitive and the courts have to understand that this is a very specific statute which was before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has interpreted and fine-tuned, let me say, and ironed out some of the creases, because look at the logic when all sides were represented and the judges labored on this issue day after day. They appreciated the fact that when anticipatory bail can be availed of in heinous crimes, then where there is no prima facie case which exists even for the sake of it, because it cannot be that every case is justified. There can be many amount of cases which are falsely filed. Therefore, the Supreme Court said that in such cases, anticipatory bail cannot be denied to that person. However, the Supreme Court has also added a caveat that in cases where there is a justifiable reason, anticipatory bail provision will not be availed of.
Okay.
So therefore, all I am saying is that we all as a society we cannot have this kind of violence again and again. We need to have dedicated fast track courts to hear these specific type of cases. And unless that happens and a society mindset and a societal change is there, we'll see this kind of violence happening again and again, which we can't afford as a nation.
Okay.
Look at the colossal amount of public property.
Property
Look at
that
the
was
people who
destroyed,
died.
yes.
That is what is appalling to me as a citizen and as
Exactly. 11 people died. Who is going to provide succor to the families of those 11 people? I want to know. They are victims of political violence. Maybe this is orchestrated violence, I don't know. But the fact is, in this buck passing that's happening between BJP and Congress, 11 Indians have died. And nobody gives a damn about them. Nobody gives a damn about those 11 Indians and their families. They are left to fend for themselves. Let me get in 2 callers. I'm going to open up the phone lines, and I want to hear from callers tonight. If you feel angry about Indians killing fellow Indians in the name of certain aggrieved pent-up frustrations or aggrieved criminal justice system which they believe is not working for them.
I want to ask one.
No, one second. Let me get it. You've had enough of a say. Let me get in our callers. Let's listen in. No, 1 second. I want to hear from I want to hear from ordinary citizens tonight, because we've heard enough from our political representatives who are simply just passing the buck towards each other. Dr. Nayak is calling us from Delhi. Dr. Nayak, good evening to you. Tell us.
Good evening, Jaka. Good evening, Jaka.
Tell us, Dr. Nayak.
I would like to say 2 to 3 facts. So can you please listen to me carefully?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First, I think all of us will agree, almost all the persons in the panel will agree, if the arrest in the dowry cases has been revisited and it has been corrected by the Supreme Court, so what's the wrong if the same thing can be applied to SC/ST Atrocity Act?
Okay.
Because as everybody knows, as in dowry cases, these cases have been actually misutilized by the victims.
Yes.
Similarly, the same has been misutilized by the SC/ST. Nobody is saying you dilute the act, but actually this is to only protect the persons, those who have actually not involved in the crime.
Okay.
What about the person who is accused? Does he not have any morality, any value, any for his legal standing?
Okay.
That is the first question. The second question is, if this is everybody is agreeing with this, why the opposition and also for the matter the ruling dispensation BJP is everybody is actually working for their vote bank? Why they cannot stand? Because there is nothing wrong in the Supreme Court, particularly this body. That's the first question. Second question is, till this time, everybody was telling the SC/ST has been suppressed or oppressed by the upper caste.
Yes.
Well, that's one fact. Maybe everybody will agree. But looking at the situation that has happened today, yesterday and today, maybe, the way these people, they're actually killing and they're fighting and they're actually challenging the ruling dispensation. Can anybody now tell or dare to tell these people have been suppressed? I really don't agree these people have been suppressed if they can behave like this.
Okay.
That's the second question.
Okay.
The third question, why these crimes has been happening, particularly as you have already discussed and mentioned, this has been happening in BJP ruled state.
Okay.
So I would like to tell, since actually this is a political, this is an election year, so can anybody with a sound mind think this is going to help BJP? No, this is not going.
Okay, okay. Let me get one more caller and then I want to go to Udit Raj because he's there for the next 5 minutes with us. Mr. Swami is calling us from Pune. Good evening to you, Mr. Swami.
Good evening, Zaka.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Swami.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of bad governance. When the Good evening, Mr. Zaka.
Yeah. Switch off your TV and please go ahead. Yeah, or turn the volume down.
Sure. Yeah. See, this is a perfect example of bad governance. When the judgment came on 20th March, I expected my Prime Minister or the Law Minister to come public and declare to the people that they are filing it to a review petition so that the people won't get angered and they'll wait for this.
Yeah.
This is an order of the day. People have to march 200 kilometers on the final day. The government goes and solves their problems or accepts them. Why can't the government be proactive on matters of sensitive matters like this, which are hurting the nation?
Okay.
And it's absolutely as a citizen, I'm pained to see that my fellow citizens are killed and have uncertainty in their future and life and all that stuff.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Swami. Yeah, let me ask Udit Raj that. Answer both the questions. One, why did the government have to wait till the Bharat Bandh and till the violence and till people got killed for the government to wake up and say, oh yes, we are filing a comprehensive review petition? March 20th, the judgment came out.
Let me tell you. Yeah, let me.
No, wait, that's a question asked by the viewer. I think it's a legitimate question. Let him answer. Let him answer.
Let me tell you, not only this judgment is responsible, this is a precipitating factor. Before that, Supreme Court gave a judgment in respect of filling of the vacancies in universities and colleges, where it says that not the college itself will be taken as unit, but the department. And that has diluted reservation like anything, and teachers have been agitating.
So what did the government do, sir? So what did the government do?
Listen, let me tell you, it's a triggering point. Otherwise, this was accumulated anger, not suddenly.
I am asking you as a representative of the ruling party, what did the government do?
No. Second day, Mr. Honorable Social Justice Minister, Mr. Gehlot had come. That he said that the government will file the review petition, and I say that it is not delayed because 30 days is the time, and the 4-5 days were in between.
I'm sorry. I think that's an unacceptable defense. It's an unacceptable defense that you have to wait for the Bharat Bandh to say that you will file a review petition. Today, 5 ministers come out and give soundbites saying, "Oh, we're all for Dalits. We're all for Dalit empowerment." Where did this steadfastness go for 10 days between March 20th and March 31st? Why didn't you come out and say that you will file a review petition? Why didn't you come out and say that we don't agree with the Supreme Court's order? Why did the government lie that it was not party to the case? Why did the government lie it was not party to the case? Because it was very much party to the case. The ASG even pleaded with the Supreme Court, give me more time to make submissions. Why?
The decision was announced a day in advance.
Zaka, can I come in?
Shama, for Shamaji, no, wait, just let me get in one point. To Shamaji, I just want to ask one question.
let me
Whether
finish,
any
Zaka,
justice
I've
has
been
been
waiting
done
for
to
so
the
long.
victims
Let
of the
me speak
Mirpur
now,
atrocities in
Zaka.
Haryana, when the Congress was in power, both at the centre and at the state level. Please tell us this
Zaka,
much
now I
also,
need to come
since
in.
you
This
like
man is
raising
not
questions
letting me
against
speak.
other people, and tell us about what happened in Kerala and
I'm going to
Maharashtra
tell
in
you.
2006. This
Zaka,
is the
can I
kind of
come in?
abysmal record that you have. And you have absolutely no locus.
Mohammed, respond.
Zaka, I want to tell you something, is that the review petition, they had waited for so long, they could have done it next day.
They could have done it the next
went
day.
to the president with a letter saying that the review
day it
petition
was
had to be
announced
done sooner.
that the
Today,
government will go
you know
for
that there was a
review petition.
It takes
fake
at
news
least 5 days to get a
controversy
certified
against
copy.
journalists.
Now, have you ever
Mr.
been to a
Modi
court
took
of
2
law?
hours. In
It
2
takes 5
hours,
to
he
7 days to get a certified
Listen,
copy.
can
What
I
are you
speak?
saying, ma'am?
This is not fair.
It is not
Zaka.
even
Let her
uploaded on the
finish.
internet.
Let her finish.
I
You
will
asked
not
her
make
you
content.
asked her a question.
This
Let
is
her
not
answer the
justified,
question. No.
Zaka. Let me speak. Why do you get these juveniles here? I want to speak. This is not done. So he took 2 hours to change the fake news thing. Mr. Modi, he has not tweeted a single thing on the 9 Dalits who have died. Does he not care about Dalits? Why wait? There was no Attorney General in the court when this hearing was happening. There was no Solicitor General, only the additional Solicitor General. Why did it take so long? And another question one of your callers had asked, so what is wrong in this law? You know, there are charge sheeting rate is 77%, but the conviction rate is only 15.4%. And you know that when they file an FIR, the Dalits, it is very difficult for them first to file an FIR. After you file that, there is the police officer and the high caste person is in cahoots. So it's such a difficult thing for Dalits, and they say it's something which is very easy. So this, of course, is brought on by the Bharatiya Janata Party. They could have controlled it long time back.
Okay.
You didn't answer my question, ma'am, and I don't understand
20 days
why,
ago.
no, wait,
Why did they,
why
Mr. Modi,
dentists
why
and
hasn't Mr. Modi
doctors
said a single word
are
on this?
trying to
And
mansplain
why?
the law to lawyers?
No, one second.
There is nothing to, and
Yes,
why
that's
the
what you're
violence
doing.
in your BJP rule states
And
is
I
the
don't.
worst
And
thing
by
you
the way,
ask.
I don't
What
think
about
I don't think a
Amrinder
woman
Singh? Look at
explaining
him.
anything
Why no prohibitory orders?
at
Which
least
he's
by
talking
definition,
down to me.
no, by definition would constitute mansplaining. But anyway, let me go across to Professor Ajit Khanna. One of the callers asked, and I think it's a legitimate question. We have from time to time reviewed every single act in this country, including the Dowry Act, which has been misused in the past by families who want to foist false cases against grooms' families. My point to you is, and this is what the caller wanted to know, if every act can be reviewed from time to time, and this is being done no less than by the Supreme Court of India, why can't there be a review of the SC/ST Act? Nothing is cast in stone. The law is not cast in stone.
Excuse me. Yeah. Thank you very much. But it's unfair. This is unfair, Zaka, that you have asked me after 35 minutes of your show. Anyway, but by the way, before I say something to you, let these people stop politicizing the whole thing. SC has warned it. SC, Supreme Court of India has said, do not politicize this SC/ST Act. So Shama, this RSS thinker, and Udit Raj should not talk about politics as far as SC/ST Act is concerned. Anyway, coming to your question, I don't agree with any of the religious practices in this country. There are so many people, lakhs and lakhs of people who agree with the religion or follow the religion. But is it the government duty to use the religion? Are they using or misusing the religion? It is the government, and Supreme Court of India has passed this bill, SC/ST Act. Now government is again filing a review petition against the SC state verdict. And what is happening? Are they fooling us? Who is fooling? Supreme Court of India or Amit Shah and Modi and company? What is happening?
What is the point you're making?
Look at the kind of atrocities they are committing against Dalits.
What is the point you're making? Because
I'm trying to make that.
So have you heard of
I'm trying to tell you
in Haryana?
No, one second. What is the point you're making, Professor Khanna? What is the point you're making?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, what is the point you're making?
I'm trying to tell you that it is, I agree there are some false cases, there is a misuse. I'm trying to say, is government not misusing the religion? Do you ban the religion?
Okay, I still am not able to, I still am
so
not.
When there is a misuse of the SC/ST Act,
okay.
Can you ban?
Okay, no, nobody is talking about banning the SC/ST Act. It's modifications to the SC/ST Act to prevent misuse, which the Supreme Court has done.
Why do they have to review it?
Because every act has been reviewed time to time, from time to time. Every act has been reviewed from time to time.
Wrong in reviewing an act.
So then, what is your opposition? Why are you then saying that the government has been caught on the wrong foot on this story?
No, it is the government. Listen, the Supreme Court, why did it come out with this judgment? Because the government presented the facts very weak. They haven't shown how many atrocities are being committed and what is the conviction rate.
I think Mr. Banjari wanted to make a point.
Like I said, 77%. But the conviction rate is, if you're not presenting the case, if you don't send the Attorney General, if you don't send anybody, then how does the Supreme Court come out with a judgment? It was a weak case from the government
just so
of
they
India.
can suit your false narrative. Please tell us what the statistics were. Let's have the statistics from 2004 to 2014 also. What was the conviction rate and how many cases were being registered? Please don't make these ridiculous arguments. And if you were in the court of law, you would have been laughed out by now. This much I can tell you. And I thank the stars that you are not a lawyer. Please give us statistics from 4 to 14 also. You can't know. This cherry picking of statistics is not right. Give us statistics from 4 to 14.
No, one second. I've got two callers. One second. I got two callers. One second. I've got two callers. One second.
You give us statistics from 4 to 14.
One second. No, one second. I've got two callers. No, I've got two callers. One second. But before I go to them, Raghav, you are proud of the fact that the conviction rate as per this act is only 25%. You're a lawyer.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
that.
So
then what are you saying?
I didn't say that. All that I'm saying is that if you look across acts, conviction rates in this country are low.
No, 2014 conviction rate 28%. 2015 conviction rate 27%. 2016 conviction rate is 25%. Just because it was bad under the Congress regime, you are satisfied that the conviction rate is just as bad under your regime?
Not at all. It is not my regime. First of all, I represent the RSS. All that I am saying is that these are systemic issues that have to be handled at the systemic level. But the Congress party has no
what needs to be done to rise the conviction rate?
Yes.
What needs to be done?
We have to make sure that the cases that are filed are prosecuted properly, and this is the reason why this review
responsibility?
This is why the review petition has been filed, so that we can, so that the Supreme Court can be acquainted with all the facts of this case once again, and then a calibrated procedure can be put in place.
Which they could have very well done when the matter was being heard.
And a calibrated procedure
which could have very well been done when the matter was being heard.
We are going to try again and again. If the review petition fails, we will file a curative petition. A curative petition will be filed.
Let me get in Captain Jakpal. Let me get in Captain Jakpal, who's calling us from Rohtak. Captain Jakpal. Sorry for making you wait, Captain Jakpal. But go ahead.
It is a pleasure, Jaka.
Go ahead, sir.
Jaka, the limited point that the Supreme Court was looking into was that the straightforward or officers who are our taskmasters, who have to take work from them, can they be protected from false acquisitions? They only introduced a period of 7 days.
Yeah.
When there was a call for this agitation, all unemployed politicians, they thought it is an opportunity. It was a mob which had no leader, and finally it led to loss of the name, face of the country, losses of life, and what a tragedy. But these politicians are busy still scoring a point, whereas there exists none. If they try and please 20%, they must know 80% are going against them. If they can't see this much of arithmetic, it is a shame that on such an issue they want to make a political capital out of it. Then the Supreme Court is telling that let us hear the honest people, let the straightforward officers not go to jail, who have to take work out of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Captain Jakpal. We've got one more caller. Mr. Kadri is calling us from Hyderabad. Mr. Kadri.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
See, Zaka, I'm Khadi from Hyderabad.
Yes, sir.
I want to make a couple of points.
Yeah.
See, in the afternoon, our law minister thumping his chest and saying that the court is hearing the matter in the open court instead of the closed door, and he was very thrilled because of his success. Now, what he will say now in the evening by the order? Second thing, this conviction rate, why it is so low? Because the judiciary is not having any appointments. When so less judges are there, how can be the cases will be go? how the police can do the justification of the case for the investigation. These are the problems where that conviction rate is less.
Okay.
Third thing, when for every simple complaint, a lady or anyone can be complained, immediately without any second thought, the IO will be register the case. Then why not in this case, when the atrocity is so much on the Dalit, when they cannot be allowed to drink the water, they will not allowed to be go on the horse ride. There are so many things are there under there in so much atrocity. Why not the case to be registered? It should be, it must be.
Okay.
When you can register the case
Okay.
for every single offence, even the petty case, you
Why
do
can't
that,
you file an
10
FIR?
minutes.
Okay, fair point. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kadri. One final caller, Dr. Gurumurthy is calling us from Coimbatore. Dr. Gurumurthy.
Thank you for allowing me.
Yeah.
See, distinctly this government has been attempting to test the waters. And they have also underestimated the intelligence of SCST, number one. Number two, I don't know under whose orders. They have touched the water. It is extremely hot. It is super hot. God knows what is going to happen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Gurumurthy. Now, what is a redressal to this? I think the Supreme Court, at least going by today's hearing, and it was an open court, it is in no mood to make any review or any amendment to its order. Shujoy Kantawala, I want to know, is the only solution before the government today that they come back to Parliament and amend this in a way to circumvent the Supreme Court's order from March 20th?
No, actually, I'll tell you, the Supreme Court has not legislated in any way. The Supreme Court has only interpreted the current provisions and read with it various other judgments, taking the help of an amicus curiae. In fact, the Supreme Court judges were conscious of the importance of the issue. Therefore, they requested a learned senior counsel of the Supreme Court to assist the court. In fact, there were interveners also who assisted the court. And the ASG appearing for the Union of India assisted the court. So therefore, the court has laid down certain guidelines and court ultimately sits to do justice. Please appreciate that the court ultimately sits to do justice. The court orders are not meant to harm anyone. So the perception that the court has legislated or overstepped its jurisdiction is something that I don't agree with. We have great pride in our Supreme Court.
Mr. Vanjari also wanted to come in. Mr. Vanjari.
Yes, I have some valid points we are missing in the discussion. Apart from the political arguments and the counter argument, let's not allow the discussion to go in the mist. I have some valid points as Mr. Kant. What has happened in 1 year, the Supreme Court has changed the mind, what legal scenario, what comprehensive sustainable data has been changed, what is the record of atrocities on Dalit as against the failure of the cases in the court or lodging false cases, that accountability has to be taken into consideration. And as it has been said that Supreme Court has not tried to legislate, but definitely Supreme Court tried to overlap the prerogatives of legislation, and that's why today we are discussing this issue, that whether tomorrow legislation in Parliament will take care of this and formulate the laws or not.
I agree with Sujay Kantawala to a great extent that at the end of the day, I don't think this was overreach by the judiciary, in as much as it gave ample opportunity. It appointed an amicus curiae. There was the additional Solicitor General who was part of hearings. It gave ample opportunity to all parties to make their case. And all that the Supreme Court has done is to tweak guidelines as per the SCST Act. I don't think this was overreach. I don't think this was an attempt to legislate. It was quintessentially bungling, which is so emblematic of what all goes wrong whenever government gets involved. It was just pure bungling that led to this, and suddenly, after the Bharat Bandh, after the violence, after 11 lives were lost, everybody sits up and says, oh my God, now how do we deal with this issue? I'm sorry, if they thought of this in January, we wouldn't have to sit on 11 dead Indian bodies in April of 2018. I want to thank everyone. Thank you for joining us, everybody on the panel. We'll see how this proceeds in court. But like I said, if the mood of the court is anything to go by as per today's open court hearing, I don't think there is much legal relief coming the government's way, at least from the Supreme Court. Let's see how this story plays out. Quick break. When we come back on the other side, Pakistan seems to have found a new spokesperson for terror. Former Pakistan cricket captain Shahid Afridi calls for United Nations intervention in Kashmir. We'll get you details of that shocking story when Face Off returns. We're back in 2 minutes.
11 killed in 3 states in 24 hours. The Supreme Court refuses to budge or intervene.
अनुसूचित जात, जनजात और महिलाओं के लिए जो कानून बनी थी, उस पर जरूर संज्ञान लें.
The government hit by the SC/ST bomb.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले के बाद लोगों के मन में व्यापक रोष है.
No change in the SC/ST verdict. The government in a fix. Modi Sarkar cornered on multiple fronts. The SC/ST verdict. Can the NDA recover lost ground? On Viewpoint tonight at 9.
Welcome back. Former Pakistan cricket captain Shahid Afridi has provoked India by calling for a UN intervention in Kashmir, responding to the clashes between protesters and security forces in Jammu and Kashmir that happened on Sunday. The former Pakistan cricket captain took to Twitter to express anguish over what he called the appalling and worrisome situation in Indian-occupied Kashmir, as he put it. The star cricketer in his message further expressed surprise over the lack of efforts by the United Nations in ending the ongoing bloodshed in Kashmir.
Well, I think it's unfortunate, coming from a player who should be responsible for bringing more reconciliation towards countries entrusted in creating, rift between the two, and has made a political comment. And Pakistan in itself, the country, has a huge worst, human rights record. When it comes to POK, if you look at the situation in POK, it's worse. So there may be issues in Kashmir, there may be violence, but we have far better human rights records when you look at between India and Pakistan. And Pakistan is fighting battle against extremists, fighting for peace and stability inside.
Yes.
They should preach similar things for India as a country, as a neighbor. They should preach similar things. There can't be two definitions for themselves and then externally use a definition set of human rights or for meanings which they're trying to use.
And that's going to be our big focus tonight at 10 p.m. on Epicenter. Why should cricketers A be commenting about political issues, and what does Shahid Afridi mean by a UN-mandated intervention in Kashmir? Doesn't he know that Kashmir is an integral part of India? That debate on Epicenter tonight at 10 p.m. with Maria Shakil.
Been killed in 3 states in 24 hours. The Supreme Court refuses to budge or intervene.
अनुसूचित जात, जनजात और महिलाओं के लिए जो कानून बनी थी, उस पर जरूर संज्ञान लें.
The government hit by the SC/ST bomb.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले के बाद लोगों के मन में व्यापक रोष है.
No change in the SC/ST verdict. The government in a fix. Modi Sarkar cornered on multiple fronts. The SC/ST verdict. Can the NDA recover lost ground? On Viewpoint tonight at 9.